After Liverpool's win at the weekend at City, just a few days ago, would I have taken 3 points any way it came today against West Ham? Yeah, absolutely. Was it convincing? Not in the slightest, to be honest. The important thing was just to get 3 points on the board after really emptying the tank against City at the weekend. And in this West Ham game, to be honest, we started well. First 40 minutes was excellent. It reminded me of Liverpool last season. We were dominant. West Ham just couldn't really play the ball out of their half. We kept winning the ball back early. We pressed high and we were winning the ball back early. Even though we were pretty much playing a 4-4-2 in this game. But it looked good. We looked in complete control, creating chances. Núñez was looking really, really dangerous. First of all, he scored his first goal at Anfield, which is fantastic. I am delighted for him because he's been getting a lot of abuse, a lot of stick from especially fans of other clubs. But he looks so dangerous. His running, his movement, really, really good. He had 2 volleys with his left foot. One from outside the box that took Fabianski making a great save to tip it over. And the second one took it down on his chest. Left foot volley, which is his weaker foot, hits the post. But he looked a threat all game. The header was really well taken too. And it just kind of feeds into a lot of what I've been saying this season about Núñez. He had 5 shots in that first half. The man just hoovers up chances. Things just happen around him. Fair enough, his overall play leaves a bit to be desired. But he keeps getting so many chances. And you feel like when he hits a rich vein of form, he could start knocking in a lot of goals. I thought Thiago was excellent in the first half as well. Just that bit of composure in the centre of the park, kept us ticking over, retained the ball well, kept us moving. To be honest, when Thiago came off in the second half, I mean, we were already losing control of the midfield a little bit, but it completely went away from us when he came off. So everything was going smoothly up until about the 40th minute, when we gave away a penalty. Joe Gomez. What was he doing? Bowen is running away from goal, takes it down his chest. Gomez very clumsily runs into the back of him with his foot up. I can see why the referee gave the penalty. And after such an excellent performance against Man City, I think he actually got man of the match. You're just wanting Gomez to start putting some form together. And this seems to be a bit of a sign of what he does or what he has been doing this season. His overall play can be good, but he just has these costly errors in him. And at the highest level, we just can't afford to be doing that. Fortunately, Alisson comes up, makes the save from the penalty. So we go in at halftime, 1-0 up. But it seemed like from that moment on, we never really got the grips of the game again the way we had in that first 40 minutes. West Ham slowly came into the game more and more. When the second half started, we were really, really sloppy. Multiple players in succession giving the ball away in times when they absolutely shouldn't have. And it was like we were just giving West Ham encouragement to get back into the game. I thought this compounded when Klopp made the triple substitution around the 56-minute mark. Núñez was still our biggest threat. He took Núñez off. Klopp later said he had a bit of maybe a small niggle, a small injury. But he also took off Carvalho and Thiago. And he put on Jones, Elliott and Fabinho. And I gotta say, Fabinho really needs to get things together this season. What says it all, I mean, he's meant to be one of the best DMs in the world. At least he's been playing like that in recent years. In that first 15 minutes that Fabinho was on the pitch, I counted him getting beaten 3 times. Just getting spun so easily to dribble past him these days. He just looks off the pace. His decision making isn't quite there. He just seems a yard or 2 behind all the time. The top DMs in the world, it is very difficult to dribble past them. And he needs to up his game. We need Fabinho at his best if we're going to go on a run. But you can tell there was a shift in the way we were playing. Second half, we dropped deeper, which in one sense is good because we've been giving up so many chances this season and giving teams so much space in behind, just almost gifting them goals. It made sense to play a bit more defensive, a little bit more in the counter. We were still creating chances, had some good opportunities in the second half. Firmino had a few shots. They nearly scored an own goal at one point. Jones had one deflected over the bar. But it certainly wasn't a convincing, dominant second half performance that we might have seen Liverpool in the past do. Instead of trying to force the play and play in the opposition half and really control things, we kind of let West Ham have the ball and just focus on trying to close space, be competitive in the centre of the park, press consistently, and close the gaps. I'm not totally opposed to that because I think maybe we just need to start getting some clean sheets on the board, get more confident with our defending, and then we can start being more progressive and more controlling in games further down the line when we're actually playing better football. But it was definitely a shift in mentality and how we approached that second half. And to be honest, if it weren't for some errors, we would have been relatively solid second half. Again, Trent in the first half didn't make any mistakes defensively, but the thing was we were so dominant, he didn't really have to do anything. As soon as he had to defend in the second half, he started making mistakes. Two particular ones come to mind. First, there was one really high ball lumped into the box. And crazily, Trent's kind of in that right back position where he could actually win the ball. He moves away from the ball to cover a defender in the centre of the box, leaving the man who was on that right-hand side completely open. And he could have easily put the ball away. It was just a poor piece of defending. That decision-making from Trent again. And then later on in the game, there was a crossfield ball played. Trent misjudges the flight of it. It goes to his man, and he just gets beaten so easily one-on-one. I do feel like this is a problem. West Ham would have had a definite goal. It was played square, and Milner made a goal-saving challenge to prevent West Ham scoring a late equaliser, which would have been devastating, to be honest with you. And that's the thing. If we're going to be more defensive and focus on being solid and allowing the other team to have more of the ball, you can't have error-prone defenders. Trent, we're really going to have to look at things. We might need to move him from that right-back spot because he just looks so vulnerable. On the flip side of that, our threat in the second half was almost 80% just Trent playing quality balls down that right-hand side, usually to Salah making runs. That's how we were getting all our joy. So you kind of see that two sides to Trent here. But is there somewhere we can play him where his defensive mistakes aren't so costly and he can still offer that quality going forward? That's the question. Elliott as well. Hopefully he'll learn from this, but at one point he just spent way too long on the ball, was dribbling backwards, eventually slips, turns over the ball, centre of the park. We're coming up to the 90-minute mark at this point, and West Ham had a really good chance on the counter. That would have been very hard for him if they'd scored from it, but he needs to be tighter in those kinds of situations. Even though I felt like Liverpool generally were more solid because we played a bit more counter-attack and played deeper, the XG tells a bit of a different story. We had 22 shots in that game. West Ham only had 8, but West Ham had a higher expected goals. It was about 2.49, and Liverpool only had 2.24 out of their 22 shots. So again, we're seeing that repetitive story that opposition have less opportunities, but higher quality ones. Bear in mind, penalties are usually 0.7 XG, so that takes up quite a large portion of West Ham's expected goals. Possession-wise as well, I think was pretty close. We might have had about 54% to 46%. So what does that tell you? It means, based on the numbers, it was probably a draw. That would have been the most fair result. But look, as I said at the beginning of the video, Liverpool emptied the tank against City just a couple days ago. We just needed to get a win in this game, no matter how it was going to happen. We also made 5 changes. And the promising thing is that is 3 wins in a row for the first time this season for Liverpool. So that is encouraging. It's 2 clean sheets in a row, even though it was a bit lucky. But if we beat Nottingham Forest on Saturday, that'll be 9 points in the league in the last 6 days, from Saturday against Forest, West Ham, Man City last Sunday. And look, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but if we win that game at the weekend, that'll be a 9-point jump, and we will quickly start rising up the table if we can just keep at it and build some momentum. So, delighted to get the 3 points, hugely important, and let's try to get 3 more at the weekend. See you in the next one.